We'll never know what would have happened in the alternate universe where Dre Greenlaw doesn't get injured during the Super Bowl. Although I don't think that's the number one reason why we lost that football game, I do have to imagine that it would have been a better shot to be full strength on defense up against the best quarterback in the league. Now, to fill that hole this offseason, the 49ers picked up Devondre Campbell, and I was feeling good about it, for sure. Now, I'm feeling great, and I'm going to tell you what I learned today that has me feeling super optimistic about Devondre Campbell joining this team. And also in this video, we're also going to be talking about the linebacker core in general and how they stack up against the rest. If you're new here, I'm Nate. We are talking the San Francisco 49ers every single day on this channel. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and join the conversation in the comment section below. I love doing it. It's super fun, and I appreciate you taking some time to hang out with me on the good old YouTube. Well, the good news is this, and I'm going to give you the snippet, and then I'm going to expand it later on in the video. You don't want to miss that, but Devondre Campbell spoke with Kyle Posey. You can check out the full video on Kyle Posey's YouTube channel, but he spoke to him about how he's already going to be so much better this season. He actually said he's already better this season. And the why is where the good news gets really juicy. But first, comment below how good you think our linebackers are right now. Like if you took our linebacking unit as a linebacker unit as a whole, how would you rank us up against everybody else? Because, man, assuming we're all healthy, by the way, so let's throw Dre Greenlaw in there too. Assume he's healthy. How do we stack up against every other team? Are we top 10, top 5, number 1, 2, 3? Because, you know, right now, what we have access to in terms of PFF rankings, which I know they're just PFF rankings, but it's the season, it's the off season, and what we do in off season is we look at these types of things. So we have single position rankings, so we can go to linebacker there, but we don't have any unit rankings yet for linebackers. So we've already talked about Fred Warner there, but remember, Fred Warner tops the list there. Been the gold standard at linebacker over the past 4 seasons, ranking as one of the position's 10 highest graded players each year. His 8 combined pass breakups and interceptions in the regular season and playoffs in 2023 were tied for the second most among linebackers. I also should note, Dre Greenlaw is not in this list. He is omitted from the list entirely because of the unknowns with his Achilles injury. I don't think it's because they don't think he's going to come back and be great. I think it's more so how many games is he going to play this season for the 49ers, and will it be enough games to consider his contributions, in terms of a statistic point of view, which I understand that. But there's another 49er on this list that we are already talking about in this video, coming in at 19, which is Devondre Campbell. Campbell should be a nice addition for the 49ers defense, giving them cover while Dre Greenlaw works his way back from injury. Campbell didn't manage to hit the heights of his 2021 campaign, which was, how good was that? 146 total tackles. That's the best season he's had with the Packers in the past few years, but he has earned PFF grades above 65 in each of the past 3 seasons. So, while we're at it, let's just look at the stats because I had him up already. Obviously played for Atlanta. You'll recognize that 2016 season if you, like me, have been following Kyle Shanahan for a little while. As you guys know, I live in Denver, been living here for like 15 years or something like that. I don't actually have the math in my head right now. Something like 15 years. I'm close to that. I've at least been here for 15 years. Not that you care. But because of that, I married into a Broncos loving family. And, the Shanahan family is very important to Broncos country out here. And so, I've been following the Shanahans. The Broncos thought they were going to get Kyle Shanahan for a while. We're hoping to get Kyle Shanahan for a while. And so, I paid close attention. So you'll recognize that 2016 season, of course, being the season they went to the Super Bowl. We might have to talk about that again later. But for now, just looking at where we're at, okay, Devondre Campbell, beast of a linebacker for sure, has had better seasons, but we'll talk about that as well. And then, of course, Fred Warner topping the list. Dre Greenlaw, if we're assuming is healthy, that's my question of the day for you. If we're assuming Dre Greenlaw is healthy, where does that put us atop the list? Do you feel like we're better than the Jets, better than the Ravens, better than, I mean, just name them. There are some teams out there that have great linebackers, and it's an interesting, you get into defensive schemes and all that, and it starts to get a little bit muddy there. Just let me know what you think, though. I look forward to joining you in the conversations down below on that. So De'Vondre Campbell spoke with Kyle Posey, and I strongly suggest you at least check out Posey's article, which I should have up here, just on NinersNation.com. You should at least check out the article. I recommend it because it made me feel super positive about De'Vondre Campbell, way better than I was feeling before. But if you have the time, you have 20 minutes, listen to the whole interview because it's really, really good. It's great to hear him and how he's processing things. It did these for me. Okay, here's what it did for me. It gave me more positive vibes, feelings, excitement, energy around how De'Vondre left Green Bay and what his biggest kind of qualms were in Green Bay, leaving, kind of how he left. And how a player leaves a team does really matter, and it does play into how they're focused and what they're trying to prove, what they're trying to achieve. So, I think that's good. How De'Vondre chose to move to the 49ers, we're going to talk about that a little bit in this video, but kind of what the main factor was in that decision. How De'Vondre feels about his ability to grow and improve heading into his age 30 season. This is now his 9th season. He's going into his 9th season in the NFL. He's a veteran. And, you're at that point where there's marginal growth remaining for you at the linebacker position, but you're kind of peaking now, right? So how much can he improve? I feel a lot better about that. And how we should feel about who he is, how he's growing as a person, his personality, his mental fortitude, all that kind of stuff. It made me feel more positive in all of those things. Ultimately, the interview left me as a fan feeling like this guy is grounded. He's humble. He's here for the right reasons. He's already bought into the culture of this team. He's a solid dude. He's a family man. He's putting sports where sports belong, career where career belongs. He's making sure he spends time with his family. Like, I feel really good about this guy. It reminds me a lot of former 49er players I'm not going to mention because I don't want to make a comparison as if they're the same guy. But there were guys like Ronnie Lott who had that ability to go home and be with their family and turn it off. And I think that's really healthy. I think that's super healthy. And I said I wasn't going to mention names, so I'll shut up now. But he was there back in Atlanta in 2016, right? They're up 28-9, right? Tom Brady and the Patriots had not even scored a touchdown going into the fourth quarter, right? This was a year, this is the first time Kyle Shanahan should have won a Super Bowl. You know what I mean? This was the real, looking back at all of them, sure he wants to win all of them, but man, that was a tough one to take for sure. Matty Ice had a decent first half, right? Good game in general. Up to the fourth quarter, everything was looking really good for the Atlanta Falcons, right? All that being said, he was there at that time, and that would have been his rookie year, I believe. And what he said about it was really interesting. And I'll read to you part of what he said, and then I'll even play you a little clip too. My final question was about Campbell's new team. This is Kyle Posey talking. The 49ers. Kyle Shanahan has coached his players to play with a level of intent that is difficult for other teams to simulate. Generally speaking, it's too late by the time you've caught up to their physicality. You don't understand how hard they play until they punch you in the mouth. I asked De'Vondre if that played a part in his coming to the Bay Area. Yeah, it's the way they coach, bro. You're held to a certain expectation. It's part of a winning culture. When you're held to a certain expectation, you can say what you want, but when you play against the 49ers, you can't make many mistakes, and you better be physical because they're going to be physical and they're going to do everything right, play in and play out. That's just how they coach. And then talking about offensive coordinator, his experience with offensive coordinator Kyle Shanahan, now head coach Kyle Shanahan, here's what he said.
So now him being able to run the show, I'm like, he don't even understand how much, because I'm very intellectual. Like, all I do is I listen and I think. So I'm like, he don't even understand just in the 6 to 8 weeks I've been there, how much better he's made me as a player, just telling me how he sees stuff or what he trying to get me to do.
So he talked about the winning culture. He wanted to be a part of that for sure. And most players would want to be a part of that. But then just how he's improved as a player, just talking with Kyle Shanahan from a head coaching role, from what Kyle Shanahan's seeing about him and how he was playing for Green Bay and what he's seeing on the training field during OTAs, that sort of thing. So how exciting that Devondre Campbell feels like just with a few weeks of offseason with the 49ers, he feels that good. He feels like he's already better just working with Kyle Shanahan. That is exciting to me. That is really exciting to me. Little weird maybe that he's talking about Kyle Shanahan and not like Sorensen or something like that, but whatever. I mean, I'll take it. I'm excited to hear that he has all this high praise for Shanahan's head coaching style and his intellectual ability to affect a game. But then to talk about just how even just having a conversation, just a one-on-one conversation, how much he's improved as a player just from a few weeks working off season. So that's exciting. That's optimistic. And you know how I feel about optimistic. As always, faithful, what a time to be alive.